Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get it higher power. Over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud down. Yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo. My people make we shout. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo. My ego die the politico. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind. Oh yo yo, my ego don't come. Oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin dey the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo. Man of the masses. Oh, yeah, yeah. My don't come. Oh, yeah, yeah. My diary politico. Oh, yeah, yeah. My don't come. Oh, yeah, yeah. This man not the off in mind.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo dodododo.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo dodododo.
Mayegun diary.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you're watching from. And this is Mayegun Live.
Glory Facebook, glory YouTube.
Mayegun diary.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary politico.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Thank you very much. Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. In fact, invite the students in particular. Tag them, share this, and tell them that Mayegun today.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Wọ́n bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Mayegun máa wí.
I will talk.
Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í.
Mayegun ti dé.
Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well, where some other stories are also embedded. And then relax after you must have shared the broadcast, maybe liked it. To my friends on Facebook, you are likely not going to see this notification. For those who have seen the notification, have joined. Thank you. You can try and share if you are allowed to, or comment if you're allowed to as well. But if you really want to enjoy it very well, I would advise you to join us on YouTube. Yes, try it. The link is on my Facebook page as well. So tonight, there is already a looming second disaster to what they have already done into the academic life of the millions of young Nigerians who have been kept at home for the past 8 months. So many of them who have suffered great losses in different ways. Today, they are about to renew that. And I don't know how long it's going to take, but it seems that it is, inevitable. You are going to go on your ASUU strike season 2. Why? Buhari's government made an agreement, something that was like wishy-washy, shady. After they blackmailed ASUU, that the money they were asking for was probably, they made it look like those lecturers were asking for that money for themselves. But eventually they succumbed to the blackmail of Buhari APC, Egbekegbe. But part of the agreement was that, okay, listen, yeah, no work, no pay. But in the spirit of reconciliation, we are going to pay you what we owe you. Okay. However, we're going to pay them in batches. They did not make any agreement that was really solid to start with. Oh. So from yesterday, the lecturers who were on strike for 8 months, some of them who have left Nigeria, by the way, for those who are left in Nigeria, they started receiving their pay, their first pay in 9 months. And guess what? They were like, not even like half salary. It was like they picked the days for those of them who returned when they said they would return, for those who didn't, lecturers in Nigerian university received the salary of, some received the salary of 21,000 naira. Now, some have already started that all of you who are still at home, yet to return, don't bother returning. To some of you who have returned and somehow sat for the examination, the quick one they made you do, don't expect any results. In fact, you know what? If you have something you were doing before in the last 8 months that you are not serious about, you better tell them now that you are coming back. Now, that is the further disaster that they called your future. If you don't really worry about that, I don't know what you should. Mind you, like I said, there are more. They said that some states in Nigeria, after the Emefiole's announcement that they are going to change the design of the naira, some of the known culprits of usual thieves, looters, state governors. You get that? And then politicians, their proxies, all that. So they said the money is so much that some of these state governors, they are now about to, in their own way of disbursing their stash, they are now willing to start paying the salary of their state workers in cash. Guess what? This same money that they are bringing out today, they were withdrawn from banks in the name of security votes, in the name of projects, in the name of paying this or paying for that. And all this cash were kept until now. So if you notice anybody, any states that you have been told that your salary will be paid in cash, just know that your government is one of, your governor or the government of your state is one of the culprits. Meanwhile, as much as we have been told that the whole hog of disgrace that Buhari and Malamu continue to shift the date of their disgrace on Nnamdi Kanu. This has now shifted to the Supreme Court of Nigeria, where it will then be interpreted fully and will be laid to rest. Okay, finally, the rights of Nnamdi Kanu that Buhari's government have been trampling upon all this way, to the point that they committed international crimes. The one that will actually outlive them when they leave power, Malamu and co. They will probably have to stay in Nigeria forever and die in Nigeria for what they have done because of Nnamdi Kanu. But there are those who would never forget him, even under even in the face of this fatal threat from Buhari's government in Igbo land. There are still people that will continue to stand up, push. You know what I mean? You can't kill them all. And mind you, right, as we have come to know now, right, Biafra is an ideology, an idea that even if you kill 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, it's never going to die. So why don't you just open the door of dialogue, the one that can pave way for an everlasting peace Biafra Republic. You're not going to die if the Igbos have their own republic, would you? Again, there are those that will never succumb under whatever threats or pressure that Buhari unleashed. That happened in Abia today, where they staged a massive, peaceful protest, reminding Nigeria that, you might have been so accustomed, so used to the brutality and illegality against the Igbos in Nigeria, but guess what? It will never break us. So last, and Nigeria go break, but it's a matter of time as well. I have a lot in pack, but on this platform, we were looking for something, just anything, no matter how little, how small, of what Atiku is doing in America. Well, I've got something for you. That is what he told, according to him, his American friends, what he is planning to do, blah, blah. Finally, we go on, right? You go manage them like that. So when we get to that stage, also tonight, many times people have told us on this platform, they have said that you can go on and get your 1 million, 100 million PVC. The people you are up against that are going to print the same PVC for you, once they sense that you are actually a threat, they will deal with you in their own Nigerian way. Now, that is expected. You may not know how much. I'll tell you few. Because Peter Obi himself confessed to his own followers. He said, if you know what they are doing to me, if you know what they are doing to my business partners, friends, things have got that he is an elite, a billionaire, a former governor, right? If you know what they are doing to him behind the scene, how they are dealing with him, you will understand that the battle you are about to face, you should rather be preparing for a plan B, because for this one, it's already rigged. Now, if they now rig you out finally, technically and every way, what do you have to do? Go back to your cocoon and continue to pray or complain. Obi said some of his own best known friends, they are now scared to pick his phone calls. He said those who manage to pick his phone calls, they are afraid to meet him in public during the day. They have to meet him during the night because of what the system would do to them. Have you noticed that APC, PDP, they are not really onto themselves the way they are onto you? Those of you who are like the obedient, one Nigerianist, you want to deal with the system. We'll talk about that as well tonight. So take a moment, call it a break, right? Before we get started. If you haven't shared the broadcast, you probably should do that now. Just a moment. And then we can kickstart this.
Today, I'm standing not at Zainab Ahmed, not at Binti Jazi that everybody knows. Today, I'm standing as a mother, a sister, a wife, a friend. Today, I lost someone very dear to me, raped by 8 men, killed, video sent to our kids. For crying out loud, what wrong have we done to you? This government, meme kai muku, me yasa ba za ku kawo mana dauki ba? A dauki uwar mutum, a yi rapin dinta, maza 8, a kashe ta, a aika wa 'ya'yanta bidiyo. Wani irin zalunci kuke mana a ƙasar nan? Wani irin zalunci kuke mana a ƙasar nan? Ya kuke iya kwanciya ku yi bacci da hakokinmu da yake kanku? Kun yi alkawari za ku kawo mana tsaro. Ku bar mu da yunwa da kuka kawo mana ƙasa. Kullum mutuncinmu ake ci. kullum tozarci muke gani. Tun ana yi a nesa yana zuwa kusa da mu. Ya ilahi me kuke so mu yi muku? Laifin me arewa ta yi muku? Laifin me arewa suka yi muku? Laifi ne da muka fito muka zaɓe ku. Laifi ne da muka fito muka bi bayan ku. Laifin me muka yi muku? Baba Buhari me muka yi maka? Baba Buhari me yasa ka tsana arewa? Baba Buhari me mata arewa suka yi maka kake bari ake cin zarafin su? Baba Buhari me arewa ta yi maka baba? Baba arewa ce ta kawo ka mulki baba? Baba arewa ce ta mai da kai?
We have got the opportunity to serve again for additional 4 years. And Nigerians will know the difference.
So, good evening to you once again. Good afternoon to you and good morning to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegu and it is live if you are joining us right on the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, for 8 months, the government of Buhari and the organization of university lecturers in Nigeria, ASUU, they were playing ping pong with the academic life and the future of millions of young Nigerians by shutting the universities for 8 months. Who is at fault? Who is wrong? Who is not wrong? Which deal? Which agreement? Which year? This and that for 8 solid months. Some younger students, some students, right, died within that 8 months. Some committed suicide. Some are actually suffering from mental health that the society is actually not even like a torchlighting us now, like putting on your searchlight on. But with the wreck, the ruin, the disaster of that 8 months in the lives of an average student in Nigeria, it seems that you were just like on a break. Because those who sworn to give you the future they continue to propagate on different platforms where they lie to you and you believe them, they actually don't care. I'll tell you some few things, right? The lecturers in Nigeria are one of the worst paid lecturers in the whole world. I mean, the whole world is too big. We'll use Africa. Educational system in Nigeria is one of the worst funded system in the whole world. I don't know any other place that is so worse because Nigerians are looking for education as far as Niger Republic. Can you believe that? Just for one simple reason. They continue to underfund education so that they can continue to yield and then produce quacks, half-baked, educated morons who always help justify their usual, systemic criminalities. You don't understand how the system works, Abi. That's how it works. The system mold you. The type of education they give to you will eventually determine at least 75% of what you are going to become in life. Yes, among other things. The empowerment you need depends on the type of training, education, exposure, and other support you get while you are growing up. All the tools you need as a young person, starting from the crèche, the kindergarten. It's a whole system that produces the humans that are going to live in a society that can think normal. Now, Nigerian system doesn't care about that. Over time, it continues to depreciate and depreciate and depreciate because of poor funding, while the rogues making these decisions continue to make the same system to their own advantage. Now, an average senator, one senator in Nigeria earns more than the Prime Minister of the UK, earns more than the President of America. Now, how do you place that in a country where it is adjudged as the poverty capital of the world, and it's not changing? In 7 years, ladies and gentlemen, this may sound ridiculous, right? But it is not. Well, it is ridiculous. But in Nigeria, it is no more. Nigeria has no money to fund education because they have to feed the fat cows, the gluttons, the criminals who live off the system. And the whole money to feed them has to be scraped from wherever they can get it from until they have nothing for health or education. So the lecturers said they are fighting for proper funding of the education system, or they should just hand off the education system and let educational system and let the people pay. And I'm like, it is so corrupt, it is so fraudulent that when you begin to ask questions of yourself, right, you will see the clearer picture that there is no, I don't think there is any country governed by fraudulent people who actually don't see how fraudulent they are. You know, they say, if you lie to yourself, if you tell lies many times, even you telling the lies, you begin to believe the lie. Now, take a listen. In Nigeria, they say there's no, they can't fund education. But in most part of Nigeria, especially southern part of Nigeria, where everyone pay for their university education, college education, you pay for school fees, don't you? Without your population and all that, right? This one is small layman arithmetical. Something that you will see through. Why are they playing with your future? Who is lying to you? You pay school fees, don't you? You pay tuition. There are places where there are times that are breaking news. Kaduna government increased school fees to 250,000 naira per student. OOU increased the school fees to 180,000 to 400,000. People are paying public universities in Nigeria. There are places where students are paying as much as 400,000 naira school fees. But when you hear about how much they are paying their lecturers, and where does this money go to? Who collect this money? I'm still wondering. When they now say the university system needs autonomy, the autonomy so that they can raise their own money and fund the system themselves, you know, improve the infrastructures in their schools. Something ASUU said they don't have the capacity because they don't have any money. Universities have no money. They have to depend on allocation from Abuja. Now, this is where they are now lying to you. You pay school fees, right? Where does that money go to? How much exactly is being realized from public tuition for universities and colleges of education in Nigeria? Does any of you students in Nigeria, do you have that figure? Do you? I may not be that, I may be kind of a rusty. I would love to see that data. How many students do you have in Nigeria schools? Nigeria universities, running different courses? How much is the average tuition of university education in Nigeria? Okay. Now put that population beside that fee and give me a figure, and then follow the money and ask the question, how come education is underfunded in Nigeria? Is not far-fetched. The system don't want you educated because a proper education will probably never make you so docile to accept some of the things that many of you defend at every given opportunity. Do you understand that? The poor, adulterated, quackery, and fake education they give to you, much like it's all intentional. They intentionally put that in place. Now, 8 months of your life gone. Something that you probably are meant to actually accustom to get used to that. So they came together. The government that can spend 82 billion naira on maintaining the Nigerian presidential fleet, a country that is comfortable, right? Spending, or should I say, budgeting over 280 billion naira for people who are less than 1,000 people at the National Assembly. They want to renovate their National Assembly. Guess how much? They want to renovate it with 129 billion naira. And you are there, defending that. Okay? And guess what? When they said they have settled and they have gone back, we said it's just Ashewo way go marry. Now just short break she go to. Eventually she'll go back to the trade. That's it. Sorry, that's sort of a dark humor out there, So as it be, whether they lied to them or not, so they said from yesterday, the money they were paying to them, some lecturers were like wondering, kilo nshele, waiting they happen. Because the salaries that they are even demanding for, that is part of the 1.4 trillion naira education support, whatever they are demanding for, that caused this whole strike. Don't let me confuse you. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but don't let me confuse you. ASUU lecturers are demanding for better pay. Now, they said if they increase what they pay them, the ASUU, it is going to cost Nigeria over 200 billion naira every year. That is how much to pay your lecturers in your school. But they can afford to budget and pay over 280 billion to less than 1,000 people because they are making laws that never really make your lives better, yeah? So they said they can't afford that. That ASUU is also demanding that improved funding to all of the federal institutions, federal educational institutions like universities or colleges of education or whatever you, right? That the funding for them should be improved. And if that should be done with their demand, it will cost Nigeria 1.2 trillion. So therefore, to give ASUU what ASUU is asking for, it's going to cost Nigeria 1.4 trillion. But listen to me, their salary is actually less than 200 billion a year. That is less than what Buhari is spending on his world tour, education. Health, what is it they call them? Medical tourism, and his family living free on your bill in Dubai, all over the place. And every one of them that is part of this whole charade. But you have already been bamboozled with different lies of those who don't give a damn. They said ASUU is demanding for 1.4 trillion, where they want Nigeria to see that money. ASUU hates Nigeria. And those of you who actually believe them, now I am just saying this to you. You might need to renew your anger against ASUU, because those who are actually supposed to keep you in your school, get you through all your whatever you are doing, and possibly get you ready to be able to face what the world really has to offer after all this, right? They can push the blame to them, and you too, right, can enjoy blaming them while your life, your future waste away. They even created another ASUU. You remember that? They created another faction of ASUU, like Tifnumbu is trying to create the faction in Afenifere. It is what they do. But what about your own life? Hail them and enjoy that as much as you would. Now, to the second part of this chart. This one will take us back to America, where Atiku was talking about Nigeria and what he has said to do. Lecturers, we collected, we get paid the 15 days salary after 8 months. They have now told their students that, listen, for those of you who have sat for examination, forget about results. We are not releasing it until we are paid. So with what we now know, it seems like once they kickstart it, if they should go ahead and do that, yeah, your situation as students is going to probably never come back to any review until maybe June, July, August, September, December 2023. Like, we know now that a lot of you have managed to get university or whatever admission to different parts of the world, especially the UK. So, for those of you who are like on that process, or probably you've abandoned it, you might just go and learn trade or go back and do something really productive with your life. You see, those in charge of Nigeria, they don't give a damn about you. And I don't think you'd probably give a damn about yourselves too for defending them, right? I'm coming back to you. Let's go and hear from Atiku as Buhari fulfills his dream of top to bottom.
And listening to us. Nigeria, APC from top to bottom, top to bottom.
How much is the dollar today, by the way? Do you see me asking you how much be the dollar? Because that's what is trending now. They are buying with the stolen cash. EFCC came out and they said that they have discovered that Wirewike is one of those who have stolen cash stock somewhere. Okay? Stored somewhere. You see that Zamfara, El Kanemi, what did they call her? This guy, Zamfara, Matawali. They said he himself in government lodge in Abuja, Nasarawa State no, not Zamfara. No, Zamfara, not so Nasarawa, Zamfara. That they have intel that 5 state governors are currently working round the clock to devise means of disposing the cash they have stockpiled, whatever that means. So, Wirewike, who has been battling with Atiku all this while, inaugurated the 100,000 personal assistants just a few hours, 48 hours ago, 2 days ago, thereabout. He has increased the number to 200,000 personal assistants, and he's going to continue to inaugurate them according to him. So that might be one big, easy way. You see, somebody said, or should I say, we were talking yesterday, and I said, I want to believe that with the deal that Wirewike signed and then agreed to with Tifnumbu and APC in Rivers State, he is not agreeing to that because he's looking for money. Or no. What he's looking for is immunity, protection from prosecution after he no longer has immunity as governor. And as he be, they have already concluded his case with Atiku. Atiku said he's moved on. They will deal with him once he's no longer governor, if Atiku becomes the president. So that deal doesn't really include money. In fact, if there is anything at all from the Jagabandit camp, it will probably be just a blank check for Wirewike to do whatever. But there's an area we didn't look into, and we should have probably mentioned that too. And it is the area of this stockpiled 2.8 trillion naira printed money that is not in circulation in Nigeria, stockpiled in different houses and all that. And most of this money can be found in all of the 36 state government houses in Nigeria. And if for those of them who have government lodges, governors lodges in different states and Abuja, if you go into those buildings and you raid them like a national raid, you probably will find up to 1 trillion naira that you are looking for in those government houses. And the custodians of those money are the people who are running your government in different states as we speak. So we're saying it's going to cost Wirewike 5 billion if he is paying his special assistants, if he's paying them 50,000 naira every month, right? 100,000 people, that will cost him about 5 billion naira every month, okay? Plus logistic, plus distilling, plus everything that will come into it. Let's say they will put up to like 7 billion naira every month for those people. Now he's doubled them now to 200,000. Now you should double that number too. So we say Wirewike will need up to 14 billion naira to run the racket is put together in Rivers State right now successfully for 4 straight months, to this month in November, to the next month in December, January 2023, and February 2023. So if it's to run them for the straight 4 months, it will need 14 billion naira every month. And that is 56 billion naira. That's a lot of money. Now, if that should come from the River State money, right, which is a crime that is trying to legalize by saying, as the governor, he could create job, he could create assistance and the rest of that, right? But it's a crime. So it probably has the other money that we are not looking into. What about stashed money? What about that? EFCC just mentioned him, not me. They mentioned him, okay? And they mentioned other APC, Egbekegbe governors. There are some of these governors in northern Nigeria. Every month, they go to Abuja. Their commissioner for finance, they go to Abuja, they sign their allocation. Once they collect the money, they will go straight to the bank. They will withdraw the money. For example, Ekiti State, let's say Ekiti State collects 1.2 billion. Zamfara, a small state, is also collecting, let's say, 1.3 billion. Now, the commissioner of finance for Zamfara, the moment is signed at the finance ministry in Abuja, that amount allocation, it will go straight, because that money will be transferred to their bank, straight, the state government account, which the finance commissioner and the rest of their clique who own the money, they go straight to the bank. They start withdrawing them in cash. They will load them in cars, government cars, straight to the government house. So if you are wondering why they are owing salaries, they are not paying salaries, this is why. Because there's no money to transfer to workers. Do you get that now? And there are states like that you don't even know. You don't even know their governor. If they say this one are governor, which governor of which state? If I ask all of you, one Nigerianist, to mention just 20 states from the 36 states in Nigeria, yeah, you probably will completely lose it by the time you get to number 10. If I ask you to start naming the governors of 20 states in Nigeria right now, some of you will completely, you could probably you barely list 5 or 10. Yes, that is just to tell you that for what they are talking about, for what they are looking for, I'm talking about the stolen cash and the rest, where you could find them. This is how they operate. Nobody knows them. Nobody cares about where they come from. They control everything in their state, including the posts and everything, including the people, local government, any money. And once the money comes in every month, they go there, they withdraw them in cash. They send them to local government areas where the politicians there too, councillors, chairmen, and the rest, they too just come every month to sign and share whatever that actually, gets to them. And that's what they do every month. And that. So the stolen cash can be found in all these places, as we have been told. And we hope that the value, now that they are finding them, the first person that asked you about the value of the money in your pocket was the same man, the fraudster that scammed educated people. He scammed illiterates. He scammed male and female. He scammed Christians, Muslims. He scammed the atheist, Babalawo, Mama, everybody. He scammed everyone that could be scammed. Scammed the witches, the wizard. And his very byline is, one of his very, very sweet line then was, what is the value of the naira in your pocket today? As looters are exchanging their loot to dollars at whatever giveaway, ridiculous exchanges that you can imagine. Not even give a ridiculous 1,200 naira to $1 to change a stashed loot. What then is the value of that naira? Somebody asked you that 8 years ago.
Truly say to yourself that our country has changed for the better. Are our children safe when they go to school? Are our parents safe when we leave them at home? Is the naira in your bank account of greater value today than it was 4 years ago? I am Muhammad Buhari. I am urging you to have your PVC, and on election day, you go peacefully and vote and make sure your vote count. Thank you.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps. We create our food. That's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor in the farm.
Abibeko. Like I said, I have laid my hand on a copy of what Atiku shared with the Americans on the Voice of America. That's what we're told. Where he got questioned about his policies, his restructuring, fighting corruption, national unity, blah, 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 blah. Would you like to listen? Now, you would help me, help me kind of, you come to my defense, okay? When, if they should take this in a wrong way, I'm talking about the Voice of America, they own this clip and we give them the credit for it. But now Atiku did their platform. And that is why we want to hear what he said or what he had to say, so to say. So the credit goes to, the credit for this clip goes to the Voice of America, as we're told, released by the Atiku team, the parts you can possibly even access into, right? In suits. If
you look at all the parameters, economic parameters, security, peace, prosperity, Nigeria has fared far, far, far better under PDP than the...
But people also accuse PDP of corruption, of being corrupt at the time it was ruling.
But we have come to realize that the APC is even more corrupt than PDP.
Okay, so what are you telling your voters so they can again vote PDP into office?
Well, I will remind them of the prosperity, that PDP brought to the country between 1999 and 2007, and then also the poverty, the insecurity, the instability that the APC has brought since they came into office.
You have said that you want to prevent the country from descending into quote-unquote frightening descent into anarchy. What do you mean by that?
What I mean is that I'm going to strengthen the security agencies in the country. I'm going to have more personnel. I'm going to have more equipment, and I'm also going to devolve more security apparatus to the local governments and also the states, so that it will not be just a federal government affair. It should be a concurrent, area between the federal government, states, and local governments, and that requires constitutional amendment.
The next president will have multiple priorities: growing insecurity, deep economic problems, rampant inflation, industrial crude oil theft, separatist agitation, among others. Should you and your party win, what do you plan to do to tackle this on day one?
We already have laid out, all those areas in our document, which is called My Covenant with Nigerians. And in that document, we have addressed all these issues, insecurity, poverty, oil theft, and so on and so forth.
There has been a lot of reporting around the Labour Party's Peter Obi that is making significant inroads among Nigeria's youth. That's a powerful bloc to have energized. Does this worry you? Powerful bloc to have energized. Does this worry you?
No, absolutely not. It doesn't worry me because the demography of the youth, varies from region to region, and it is not in all regions of the country that the preponderance of the youth are moving towards labor. Maybe in some few areas in the south or in southeast.
Should we expect you to go into alliances with some of these other political parties?
Alliances are normal phenomenon in a political dispensation. If there are reasons for us to go into alliances, we will go. For instance, I promise that even if we win overwhelmingly, I'm going to set up a government of national unity, meaning that I will reach out to other political parties to participate in the government so that we can, first of all, bring unity back to the country, bring stability. Unless you have unity and stability, all the programs you have lined up to implement, you cannot implement them. We have done that in 1999. PDP won overwhelmingly. But because of the circumstances of the situation in the country, we formed a government of national unity. We brought AD, we brought AMPP, and so on. And then I think we made a success of that. So we have the experience to do that.
Okay, now 3 French questions from the French. What are your thoughts on what is going on in the Sahel region to fight against terrorism and the coup d'etats?
Well, my first and foremost is regrettable that Nigeria has retreated in terms of the security of West Africa. In other words, the standing force we used to have, ECOMOG, is no longer in place, and Nigeria is retreating its leadership in West Africa. And I have assured, West African leaders that Nigeria will resume its leadership as far as the security of the Sahel and West Africa is concerned.
This relates to the next question, which says, should Nigeria as a leader play a much bigger role in the stabilization of the region?
Definitely yes. Nigeria has no alternative than to play such a role.
And what do you think about
as it used to be when we were in office? That's why I said we are going to reinstate, a common force to make sure, first of all, there is no disruption to our democratic gains in Africa, in West Africa in particular, and also we try to use that standing force, to deal with insecurity challenges anywhere they may arise within the West African sub-region.
By the way, what's your take about this American alert warning on terror and the measures they took to evacuate their citizens from Nigeria?
My belief is that there should have been actually a dialogue between the American security agencies or embassy and also the Nigerian authorities so that there is a common understanding and a common approach. I think that's what should have been the case.
It is kind of surprising that a foreign entity like the U.S. would find out that things are not happening that the Nigerian security or intelligence community have been unable to discover by themselves.
It's curious, quite all right, because I know there is a lot of areas of cooperation between the American security agencies and the Nigerian, defense agencies. But it's curious that, the Americans decided to do it the way they have, or handle it the way they have handled it.
And finally, from the French, what's your view about the effort to come up with this eco-regional currency for the entire African continent? Is that something you support?
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, there are two things there. There is the West African common currency,
right,
which we support very much, and which, in fact, I have assured some West African leaders that I will pursue very, very vigorously. And then secondly, there was also the inter-African trade agreement, which Nigeria has signed, but is not implementing it actively. So our administration will make sure that that is very much implemented throughout Africa.
Some of you are not really nice people. I told you, sometimes you should try to be nice. It's actually good to be nice. They said the interview was done by Voice of America. And I've been reading comments, and the rest of you have been like, oh, my, this one will be Voice of America or now Voice of Djibouti. How can VOA be VOD? Someone even said that a Voice of Adamawa. You should be nice. I mean, you should try and be nice. Because somehow, as you have Joe Biden in Tifnumbu, don't forget that you also have Adamawa Raila Odinga. Is that one new? Don't pretend. Atiku is your own Raila Odinga. So, Adamawa Raila Odinga answered all questions, or except one. And me, I go ask. Maybe all of us should ask. How did Atiku enter America in 2003?